morning, students. Today we will be discussing the next type of chemical reaction, that is called redox reaction. Here in the redox reaction, two important processes are involved: reduction and oxidation. Let us understand properly. What is redox reaction? Redox reaction is a reaction where oxidation process and reduction process both are involved simultaneously. Means both are taking place simultaneously. That reactions are called redox reaction. Let us understand about oxidation process first. So those chemical reactions in which there is an addition of oxygen is taking place, or there is a removal of hydrogen is taking place, that particular reactions are called oxidation reactions. Okay, in the next one, that is reduction process. So those chemical reactions in which there is an addition of oxygen is taking place, or there is a removal of oxygen is taking place, that type of reactions are called reduction reaction. So when in the redox reaction, oxidation process and reduction process both are taking place simultaneously. Let us take an example of redox reaction. In this reaction, iron oxide, when it is treated with carbon monoxide gas, so this iron oxide is getting reduced to iron plus carbon dioxide gas is released. Here iron oxide is there, that is called metallic oxide. So metallic oxide is losing its oxygen to getting converted to iron, to getting reduced to iron. So this metallic oxide losing oxygen, the loss of oxygen is means reduction, and this carbon monoxide is getting converted to carbon dioxide gas. It means there is a gain of oxygen is happening out. Wherever there is a gain of oxygen, that is process is called oxidation. So whether oxidation and reduction process are taking place simultaneously, yes, they both are taking place simultaneously. So that's why this reaction is an example for redox reaction. Here an activity has been shown out to explain about redox reaction. In the initial state, when copper is there and oxygen is there, when copper is heated in presence of oxygen, so what will happen? It leads to the formation of copper oxide. So what is there in this activity? So you have to take a copper powder in a china dish, and china dish is kept over the wire gauge under the flame. So whenever it is heated in presence of oxygen, the reddish brown copper is getting converted to black copper oxide. So what happening in this reaction? What explanation is there? The copper and oxygen is there, means addition of oxygen is taking place. Wherever there is an addition of oxygen, that particular process is called oxidation. So whether this particular reaction is a redox reaction? No, this particular reaction is not a redox reaction, but here this is oxidation process is taking place. It is an example for oxidation process or oxidation reaction. Let us take the activity further. In the further part, you will understand that when copper oxide is there and hydrogen gas is passed through copper oxide, when copper oxide is taken in a chamber, and it's a glass chamber or glass tube, and it is heated from downside, and a hydrogen gas is passed out. So copper oxide is getting reduced to copper again, and the hydrogen gas which is passed through the tube, which is comes in contact of copper oxide, is getting oxidized to water. So copper oxide is losing its oxygen, that's why it's getting undergoing reduction process, and hydrogen gas is gaining oxygen, that's why it is undergoing oxidation process. So this particular reaction is an example for redox reaction. Let us take some more examples of redox reaction. Here a reaction has been taking place between zinc oxide and carbon. Carbon is a good reducing agent. So zinc oxide, which is a metallic oxide is getting converted to metal, and the carbon, which is a good reducing agent, is getting oxidized to carbon monoxide. So zinc oxide to metal, that is zinc, loss of oxygen is taking place. So wherever there is a loss of oxygen, reduction process is taking place. Wherever the carbon is getting converted to carbon monoxide, wherever there is a gain of oxygen, oxidation process is taking place. So this reaction is an example for redox reaction. Can you observe zinc oxide is undergoing, or you can say is getting reduced? If it is getting reduced, so we can say it is an oxidizing agent. It means it can provide oxygen. It is an oxidizing agent. And the substance which is undergoing oxidation process, the substance which is gaining oxygen, which is undergoing oxidation process, it means it is a good reducing agent. It means which is a good reducing agent. Let us take another example of between manganese dioxide and hydrochloric acid. When both are treated together, it will lead to the formation of manganese chloride, water and chlorine gas. You will observe that in this reaction, manganese oxide is getting converted to manganese chloride. It means there is a loss of oxygen. Wherever there is a loss of oxygen, it means that loss of oxygen indicate about reduction process. Here HCl is getting converted to chlorine gas. What happening here? There is a loss of hydrogen, and loss of hydrogen means oxidation process. So both oxidation and reduction reaction taking place simultaneously. So we can say this is also an example for redox reaction. And we have also understood the substance which is undergoing reduction process, or you can say the substance which is getting reduced, it is an oxidizing agent. It is an oxidizing agent. And the substance which is undergoing oxidation process, or you can say the substance which is getting oxidized, it will be a reducing agent. So this is all about redox reaction. So four examples we have seen about redox reaction. We have seen that wherever there is an involvement of addition of oxygen is taking place, that will be oxidation. Wherever there is a removal of oxygen is taking place, that will be reduction. So such type of process, wherever they are involved out, that whole reaction is called redox reaction. Here one activity is there as a recall activity, where we have done all this particular activity discussion, where magnesium ribbon is heated under the flame, and which is converting to magnesium oxide. So what process is involved out here? Here oxidation process is involved, because addition of oxygen is taking place. The question has been there, what compound is formed? Here the compound is magnesium oxide. And is magnesium being oxidized or reduced? You can directly observe that addition of oxygen is taking place. Whenever there is an addition of oxygen, that means the substance is getting oxidized. It means the substance is undergoing oxidation process. So I think you have already understood about redox reaction. Thank you, class.